blow my own horn here, but I've always been fairly good, okay, at presentations. When I was at university, I always got top marks for my presentations, way better than my writing. I then went into lecturing and teaching, and I delivered presentations every single day. And now here I am making presentations of a sort, I suppose, on YouTube. And another thing, I won a 3-minute thesis competition. So proud of myself. 3-minute thesis, you talk about your PhD thesis in only 3 minutes. It is excruciatingly difficult to do. Anyone who's doing their PhD will appreciate that, I'm sure, but I won. Winning. And I think this is largely down to my presentation skills. So how do I do it? And more importantly, how can you do it too? I've got a bunch of tips and I'm gonna throw them all at you now. Make sure you stay to the end of this video because if you do every one of these, I promise you, you will deliver an excellent conference presentation. The first tip I can give you is to make your slideshow, if you're using a slideshow, look really good. You want your slides to be visually appealing, easy on the eye. Don't have too much text. Include appropriate images, appropriate transitions, appropriate animations. Make sure the font is big enough for people to read. Just because you can read it on your computer screen doesn't mean the person at the back of the lecture hall will be able to read it too. I always try where possible to use dark coloured font, black, navy blues, because they are easier to read. I try to use images, but only where appropriate, nothing that's too distracting. And I absolutely love the suggested slides feature on PowerPoint. I just think it makes my slides look really cool, look really innovative, and I think it looks really stylish. Your presentation should be a story, effectively. It should have an introduction, it should have a conclusion, it should have a middle. You want to build up into the story. You want to tell people what's coming next. You want people to be engaged and listening. So try and have some kind of order to your presentation, some purpose to what's there. Don't do things like repeating yourself. I'm pretty guilty of that. I will admit that one. But try not to repeat yourself and try to be quite direct and straight to the point and not waffle on too. Guilty of that one too. Doing a conference presentation can be really nerve-wracking. And one of the things that you can make yourself feel a little bit more at ease and also be in a good position if anything does go wrong is to have multiple backups. Whenever I'm doing a conference presentation, I will have a copy of the presentation on my USB, I will have it in some kind of cloud storage, or I will have it on email. So that if my USB won't load for some reason or it won't work, I can just open up my email or my cloud storage and I can download it from there. I also like to always have a printed copy. If it's a small conference, maybe I will print these out as handouts so people can make notes and I would hand them out to people. But if there are more than a few people, I wouldn't do that. I don't think it's environmentally friendly, and a lot of people have electronic devices nowadays anyway, so I just don't really think we need more paper in the world. But if it's appropriate, you can do that. Think about your tone of voice. Try not to speak like this and to be monotone. This can especially happen when you are reading from the slides. No, don't read from the slides. Don't do that. Better always to have just bullet points, because I think it's natural actually that we do have a tendency when we have sentences up on a slide to read it, which often also means we're turning our backs and nobody can hear what we're saying anyway because our voice is projecting in the wrong direction. Doesn't sound good, doesn't look good, does it? Just try to ensure that you speak clearly, loud enough, but not too loud, at an appropriate speed, and just in an engaging tone. One thing that can really make your conference presentation awesome is to demonstrate your enthusiasm. A lot of us are really enthusiastic about our work, and that doesn't come across enough. If you love your work, show people that. Tell them that. Have a smile on your face, relax a little bit. Tell them why you think it's great. Tell them how you enjoyed it. If you are demonstrating that you are enthusiastic, it helps to just generate a good mood and a sense of positivity throughout the audience. Another important thing is your body language. A lot of people tend to stand like this and they will be very nervous and closed. This doesn't look good. We want open body language. You want to demonstrate confidence. Stand up straight or sit up straight. Project your voice. Have open body language. That is more welcoming. It shows more confidence, and I think it makes you feel more confident too. I'll never forget the day that my student said to me, "Hayley, you're always saying, okay. And I said to them, "No, I'm not. that's not me. You're talking about someone else. But actually, I've been reminded of this just recently through making these YouTube videos. By the way, if you're finding this video helpful, please do hit the like button. It really helps me to share my videos and hopefully help other people just like you. Anyway, so I was recently making these YouTube videos and I found that I have to keep cutting out all of my okay. So they were right. They were so right. And I didn't even realize it. And this is really common. Try is hard. It is hard. But try where you can not to keep saying okay, so, and just speak and get to the point. Because that's more enjoyable to listen to. It shows confidence more. And I know it's tough. I do it. We all do it. But I guess try not to is the message. Another tip that I have for you to do an awesome conference presentation is to be prepared to answer questions. There will be questions. There always are. It's part of doing a conference presentation. So be prepared to answer them. And don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Sometimes we don't know the answer. You don't know what questions are going to come your way. You might have a question that you just genuinely don't know the answer to. So don't make something up. Don't try and answer it if you can't. Just say, I'm not sure about that, but that is an interesting point. I'm going to go home and research it. Or, I'm not sure about that. I don't know the answer. Do you? Does anybody else? There's nothing wrong with admitting that you don't know everything because nobody does. Doing a conference presentation can be really nerve-wracking, and one way that you can cope with this is to practice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice with your mum, practice with your husband, practice with your best friends. It doesn't matter. Practice in front of your dog. Why not? Practicing helps. It helps you to build your confidence. It helps you to be able to speak clearer. I would have never won the 3-minute thesis competition if I didn't practice. I practiced quite a lot. Practice makes perfect. It's an old saying, but it's a true saying. One thing that is unique to conference presentations over other types of presentations is that people will walk out in the middle of your presentation. And in many cases, I would find that deeply offensive. But remember that when you are in a conference environment, that's what happens. People move between rooms. People don't always have the same interests. There are multiple presentations that are probably going on at the same time as yours. So somebody might decide, actually, I've looked at the schedule and I think I'm better suited to a presentation in another room rather than this one. It's nothing offensive to you. It's about the people who are leaving, or maybe they're coming, but it's about that person and what they need to get out of the conference. It's not about you. So don't be offended and don't let it bother you if you are presenting and you see somebody get up and leave the room. It is also common, unfortunately, in conferences that people will have their laptops or their devices in front of them on the desk. And sometimes people may not give their whole attention to you as the presenter. Now, whilst I wish that this wasn't the case, don't take it personally. People have busy lives, people have a lot of work to do. They might be checking their emails. They might actually just be typing out what you're saying, taking notes. So don't be offended by that. Just know that it is a part of the life that we live these days, unfortunately. And maybe bear that in mind when you're watching other people's presentations too. And maybe leave your phone in your pocket and leave your laptop closed unless you really need to open it. And my final piece of advice is enjoy it. This is your chance to shine. So shine. Do your best. Show off what you can do. It is nerve-wracking. I know, I get it. We're all nervous. But ultimately, it's only a few minutes of your life. In the grand scheme of things, it's not that much. So if you do all of the things that I've told you to do in this video, you should be in a strong position to just shine and to do a great conference presentation. So if you have found this helpful, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching. Please do hit the like button to let me know that you've watched it all the way through and that you've found it helpful. And please do subscribe, and I will release more videos like this very soon.